Happy Friday, everybody. I am happy to be here today. Thank you all for joining me this afternoon. My name is Mitchell Saum. I am the Director of Sales at BDV Solutions, and I am coming online today to talk to y'all about the EB3 Unskilled program. So I really scheduled this for noon Eastern time today. So I'm just starting about 5 minutes early just to get some people online and have some people here so we can get some questions rolling in. But I am going to be just talking generally about the EB3 Unskilled process and answering whatever questions you might have. So we are streaming today live in the BDV Solutions Facebook group. If you're watching this on YouTube and you're not a member of the Facebook group, please go check it out. There's a lot of information in there, a lot of useful content, and it's a great way to engage with other people that are interested in this program and other BDV clients that are doing this program. This is also streaming live on our YouTube channel. So if you're watching this on YouTube, thanks for being here and thanks for subscribing to our YouTube channel. But today I am going to be talking about EB3 Unskilled. I used to do a lot of these Facebook Live videos just by myself, and I would just talk to the screen for an hour. So I'm going to do that again. It's been a while since I've done this, so I might be a little rusty, but I look forward to answering your questions, clearing your doubts, and helping you have a better understanding of this process. So welcome. I'm going to go ahead and kind of jump right into this. And if y'all have any questions while you are watching me, please don't hesitate to type or comment your question, and I will try to go through each of those and respond to you and answer whatever it is you are wondering about. So EB3 Unskilled, we'll take a step back from EB3 Unskilled, and we're just going to talk about green cards in general here in the beginning. A green card in the United States is a permanent resident status in the United States. So when you have a green card, you are a permanent resident of the United States. You can live in the United States legally as long as you want. When you have a green card, you can renew that green card. The green cards that our clients get through this program are non-conditional 10-year green cards. So every 10 years, you can renew that green card and you can stay here in the United States as long as you want. After 5 years of being a green card holder, you can apply for citizenship and you can naturalize and become a U.S. citizen if you choose to do that. My mother-in-law is a green card holder. She's from Japan, and she didn't want to give up her Japanese citizenship. So she's been a green card holder for 30 years in the United States. So really, you have a choice whether you want to become a citizen or you want to stay a permanent resident in the United States. Permanent residency is great. And those who could probably really attest to that statement are those of you that are in the United States on non-immigrant visas. So a lot of BDV clients, I would say probably about 80% of BDV's clients are inside of the United States on a non-immigrant visa. Most of our clients that are adjusting their status are on a student visa in the United States, and they're adjusting from a student visa to EB3 Unskilled. So one person asked here, can I apply for the EB3 visa outside of the United States? Yes, you can apply for EB3 directly from your home country or directly from wherever you are living. So for example, if you're from Nepal, you can apply for this process from Nepal, and you will have your visa interview at the U.S. consulate in Kathmandu. With that being said, we also have a lot of Nepali clients that are living in Japan. I didn't know that there's a population of Nepali in Japan, but they are processing from Japan. And so you can actually do this process from wherever you are legally living. So this process really is available for almost anybody. The only really restriction of countries that cannot apply for this right now are if you are born in India or if you are born in China. Unfortunately, from those two countries, there is a massive visa backlog, particularly for this category, EB3 Unskilled. And unfortunately, if you're from India or China, born in those countries, then you are not eligible for BDV services. That's something that we hope will change in the future with immigration reform and stuff like this. But it's, you know, relatively kind of unknown right now what is going to happen. So green cards, highly valuable. They allow you to live in the United States, work in the United States without restrictions. You can work wherever you want. You can start your own business. Really, the only restriction of having a green card is that you can't vote. So if you're a US citizen, you can vote in our democratic elections. But if you are a green card holder, you don't have the ability to vote. But you can live here and you can work here. You can do really whatever you want. So green cards are incredibly, incredibly difficult to get in most cases. And I think that a lot of BDV clients already understand that when they sign up for our services. That's one of the reasons why people sign up with BDV, is because they realize that getting a green card is extremely difficult. It takes a long time. If you're doing an employment-based visa for a skilled job, it's incredibly competitive. And so a lot of people will opt to do the EB3 Unskilled program. And so obviously we're going to dive deeper into that. But I will tell you that there's 3 ways to get a green card in the United States. Number 1 is through family. If you have family that are living in the United States that are citizens, they can sponsor you through a family petition. The problem with family petitions is that, you know, they take a long time. Some of them take, you know, around 10 years. And so a lot of people aren't willing to wait 10 years to get a green card. So family petition is really the first option. Second option is the diversity lottery, which is the green card lottery is also what it's called. And if you're from a country that there aren't a lot of people in the United States from that population of that country, you can apply for the diversity lottery. It's a lottery, so there's no guarantee that you're going to get it, but you can apply for it. And if you're lucky, you can get your green card through the DV lottery. The third option is employment-based visas. Those are EB visas, employment-based EB. The EB visa program was created in 1990, and it was created in 1990. It's called the Immigration and Nationality Act of 1990. That created our current employment-based visa program. And the employment-based program is split up into 5 categories: EB1, EB2, EB3, EB4, EB5. 5 employment-based visas. E1 is for extraordinary abilities. So if you are a professional basketball player from China or from another country, you can apply for an EB1, and it's incredibly competitive and incredibly difficult to get one. You have to definitely be very talented, but you can get a green card through EB1 if you have extraordinary abilities. EB2 is more of a skilled and professional employment-based visa. A lot of EB2s are high-level executives from multinational companies that are doing EB2. And then with EB2, you can also do a national interest waiver where you're self-petitioning for yourself. EB2 national interest waivers and EB2s are a little bit more difficult to get approved. We have a lot of clients that have previously applied for EB2s, realized that their case wasn't going to be successful with EB2. And so those people ultimately decided to change to EB3 Unskilled. EB3 is employment-based visa category number 3, and it's separated into 3 subsect categories. So EB3 Unskilled is just one of those. There is EB3 Skilled, EB3 Professional, and EB3 Unskilled. A lot of people will try to do EB3 Skilled. and try to find an employer related to their field of study or an employer in their background or whatever industry they're working in, it's incredibly competitive. I'm not saying that it can't be done or it's impossible. It's totally possible to get an EB3 skilled approved, but it's competitive and it's hard. EB3 unskilled is very different from the other EB3 skilleds. EB3 unskilled is specifically for unskilled workers in the United States. What is unskilled work? An unskilled job is a job in the United States that does not require any sort of previous experience, any sort of education requirement. So an unskilled job is entry level. Anyone can apply for it. You don't have to have any pre-qualifications to apply for an unskilled job. And so this is the reason why a lot of people will opt to sign up with BDV and do the EB3 unskilled program. Ultimately, it's easier, it's faster. What BDV does is we connect you with an employer that is willing to sponsor you for EB3 unskilled. And so our job is to go out, find employers that are willing and able to sponsor you. And these employers are companies in the United States that need workers desperately. If you follow current events in the United States, you will be aware probably that in the United States right now, we are experiencing a massive, unprecedented labor shortage where US companies, specifically with unskilled jobs, are very much struggling to find American workers. So those companies are out trying to recruit people to come and work for them, and they're failing in most cases, and they're not hiring as many people as they need to hire in order to keep their businesses functioning and operating. So EB3 unskilled is unique because anyone can apply for it. There are no requirements. That doesn't mean that if you are skilled or if you have education that you can't apply for the unskilled job. Anyone can apply. So it doesn't matter if you have never graduated high school or you never went to college, or if you have a PhD or a master's degree. It's all the same. You are no different than the person, that didn't graduate from high school in this circumstance. So anyone can apply for it. You can be highly educated, highly skilled, or you can have no skills at all, no education, and you can still apply for this. It does not matter. So this is really kind of one of the main reasons why people opt to choose to do the unskilled program. Because when you work with an agency like BDV Solutions, we have employers that are ready to start processing for you. So you don't have to go find a sponsor that's going to go through this process for you. BDV will do that for you, and BDV will vet that employer and make sure that they are capable of getting you through the process successfully. So one of our main roles in this process is analyzing these employers that we're working with and determining that they are strong companies, big companies that aren't going to go bankrupt, that aren't going to go out of business. These are businesses that are large established companies. And BDV works exclusively with larger businesses. Pretty much all of our employers have at least over 100 full-time employees. So this is not your local gas station or your local restaurant down the road that tells you that they're going to sponsor you. This is a big company that has been in business for several years and has a lot of employees on their payroll. So BDV Solutions, we pride ourselves in working with high quality employers. So got off on a little tangent there about the EB3 unskilled, but I also want to mention EB4 is for religious people. If you are, a priest or something from another country, then you can be sponsored for EB4 from a religious organization in the United States. And then EB5 is an investment visa. And EB5 is very expensive. usually you have to invest at least $500,000 US into the US economy. You have to create a business that creates at least 10 jobs, and you have to invest a minimum of $500,000. So not a lot of people are really capable to do EB-5 unless you just have $500,000 lying around in your savings account. So EB-5 is just not for everyone. That's really for some high wealth individuals. So those are the employment-based visas. BDV works exclusively with EB-3 Unskilled. So we do not do EB-3 Skilled. We don't do EB-2, EB-1, any of those. We are only doing EB-3 Unskilled. So we focus on this one category, and we try to be really good at this one thing. We don't have our hands in all these different visa categories. And obviously, we're just doing US immigration here. So we are hyper-focused on EB-3 Unskilled. And, every day it's what we do. It's what we see. So we have a lot of experience within this category of visas. And I think that is another reason why people sign up with us, is because we are hyper-focused. We have a lot of experience. We have a lot of clients that have gone through this process successfully. And that is really something that sets us apart from other competitors and other agencies that are out there. So I am going to walk y'all through the EB-3 process. And this is going to be for adjustment of status for people inside the United States and for consular processing. I'm going to talk about both. I'm going to talk about both processes, the difference between those processes. And then again, if you have any questions, please comment your questions. At the end of this, I'm going to go back and I'm going to read all of those questions and try to answer them. But EB-3 Unskilled is a 3-step process, 3 steps, very straightforward. Step 1 is the labor certification. Step 2 is the I-140 immigrant petition. And step 3 is the interview. And I'm going to deep dive into each of these sections of the process and talk to you about them in more detail. So the first step that we're going to talk about is the labor certification. The labor certification is step 1 of the EB-3 process. Labor certifications are filed by the employer that is sponsoring you for your EB-3 green card. The labor certification is a document that is submitted to the Department of Labor from your employer. And the labor certification signifies the fact that the employer has tested their labor market in their local area, and they have proven that they cannot find US workers to fill the jobs that they have available. So before an employer can file a labor certification, they have to go through a series of recruitment in the United States where they try to find workers to fill that role or fill that position that they're hiring for. And in doing that, they will prove that they can't find a sufficient amount of workers. And that in itself proves their labor shortage. The labor certification is filed once all of that recruitment is completed. And the labor certification is really simply a document that the employer submits to the Department of Labor and says, Department of Labor, I looked for US employees. I tried to find workers. I couldn't find a sufficient amount of workers for the amount of workers that I need in my business. And this document is I'm submitting this to you on behalf of a foreign national who is willing to work in this position. So the labor certifications are submitted by the employer to the Department of Labor, but they are filed on behalf of the foreign national that is applying and signing up with this program. So the labor certification predominantly has information about the employer. There is a small section on the labor certification with information about the foreign national or the applicant that is actually applying. that document is submitted to DOL and it's processed by the Department of Labor. Labor certifications can be audited, and in a labor certification audit is where the Department of Labor will pull randomly labor certifications that have been submitted to them and audit them. And the purpose of the audit is to verify the integrity of the labor certification and to ensure that that employer truly has a labor shortage and they are truly eligible to sponsor someone for a permanent green card. So this is a key part of the process. You have to have a labor certification approval in order to move to the second step of the process. So labor certifications can get audited. Audits are a normal part of the process. They're random. So many people will sign up for one employer. Some people might get audited. Other people might not get audited. It's not necessarily fair. Like I said, it's random in most cases. So it can happen or it can't happen. Labor certification processing times are constantly changing. I have been working at BDV Solutions since 2017, and I've seen labor certifications all across the board. At one point, labor certifications were taking 1 to 2 months if they were just getting approved without an audit. And now labor certifications are taking around 5 to 6 months to get that initial analyst review. And then if you get an audit right now, it's usually adding an additional 6 months of processing time to that labor certification. So currently, today is October 22nd, 2021, labor certifications are taking anywhere between 6 months and 12 months, just depending on whether you get audited or whether you don't get audited. If you do get an audit, the audit is essentially just the employer. In most cases, the audits are the Department of Labor inquiring with the employer and asking them for proof of their recruitment and proof that they went through the necessary steps that are required by the Department of Labor for them to file a labor certification. So with BDV Solutions, if your case gets audited, BDV will notify you of that audit as soon as it comes, and then the employer will respond to that audit with the Department of Labor. BDV Solutions keeps you as the client, we will keep you updated with what is going on throughout that process. Eventually, that labor certification audit will be reviewed, and hopefully, if everything looks okay, it will be approved. So you could get approved immediately at that 6-month period with no audit, or you could get approved at that 12-month period after your labor certification gets an audit. One thing that I want to mention in here and just interject is that this is an employment-based visa program. Those two words are very important, employment-based. Employment-based means that the employer is doing this entire process themselves. So BDV Solutions is not doing this process for you. BDV Solutions is managing the employer, your sponsor, which is going through this process for you. So this is employment-based immigration. It is done by your employer. It's not done by the agency. And so these employers, while running their businesses, which are not immigration agencies, are going through this process with BDV and with you to sponsor you because they're willing to go through that because they need you to go work for them. And they're willing to go through this sponsorship process because they need workers that desperately. And obviously, getting a green card through employment, it's not a simple process. It takes a long time, a lot of energy, and most employers in the United States are not even willing to consider sponsoring someone for a green card, much less that of H-1B or any type of work visa for that matter. So the employers that we work with are willing to go through this process. They understand what they're getting into, and they know that it's not going to be necessarily easy for them. So that is step one, labor certification. If you have any questions, again, please type your questions. I will get back to y'all at the end of this once I go through all of these steps. Once your labor certification is approved, then you move forward to the next step of the process, step two. And step two is the I-140 immigrant petition. The I-140 is filed for all EB-3 cases. The I-140 immigrant petition is filed by the employer again, but this time the employer is submitting that I-140 to USCIS. So United States Customs and Immigration Services is the agency that is processing the I-140. So remember, during the labor certification, we are dealing with the Department of Labor. At the second step of the process, the I-140, you move forward to the next agency, which is USCIS, and they are going to be reviewing and adjudicating your I-140 immigrant petition. The I-140 is another document. Yes, there are a lot of documents in this process that is submitted with USCIS, and it is stating, USCIS, we have an approved labor certification from the Department of Labor. We have proven our labor shortage, and our labor certification has been approved by Department of Labor. Now we are petitioning for the immigrant visa for this visa applicant. So again, the I-140 here, it is an employer submitted document. However, it does have information about the foreign national that is applying. So the I-140 will have a lot of information about the employer. The I-140 will also have a lot of information about the applicant that is applying for that position, the foreign national that is applying for a green card. I-140s have the option to be filed with premium processing. Premium processing is an additional government fee that is paid to USCIS for USCIS to process the I-140 faster. So an I-140 that is premium processed will be reviewed and adjudicated within 15 business days once it's submitted. If your I-140 is filed with regular processing, many times it can take several months to get your I-140 approved. Those I-140s, the timing will really vary significantly, but with BDV Solutions, included in our fees that we charge to our client is premium processing. So if you sign up with BDV Solutions, your I-140 will be premium processed. And this is really the only stage of the EB-3 process that can be expedited and that can be sped up a little bit. So, the I-140, in my opinion, the I-140 is really one of the most important steps of this process. Once you get that I-140 approved, your I-140 approval is permanent. It does not expire. So when your I-140 is approved, all you are doing at that point is waiting for your last step of your process, which is your green card adjudication. And we will talk about that more in a little bit. I-140s, just like the labor certification stage of the process, the I-140 is subject to being audited in its own way. The audit for an I-140 is called an RFE. And here, I'll just plug that in here, RFE, so y'all can see. RFE, which also stands for Request for Evidence. Here, I'll just type this in so y'all can see it. Request for Evidence. So your I-140 can have an RFE, and that is essentially USCIS asking additional information. They could be asking additional information to the employer for information about the company, or they could be asking for additional information about you as the applicant. At this stage of the process, you will actually have an attorney that is filing all these documents on behalf of you and on behalf of your sponsor. So you're not submitting this stuff to yourself. The employer really isn't submitting this directly to USCIS, but they are submitting it through their attorney, which is also going to be serving as your attorney. So the attorney will submit this to USCIS. You can get an RFE, a request for evidence, where they might ask more information from you, and the attorney will help respond to that RFE, give USCIS the information that they're looking for, so ultimately they can approve your I-140 immigrant petition. And just so you have an understanding, if you get an RFE and you're filed with premium processing, Once your RFE response is submitted, USCIS will adjudicate your RFE response within 15 business days. So your I-140 premium processing will continue into that RFE once it's submitted. Once your I-140 is approved, you will move forward really to the last step of the process. But before I jump into that, I just want to start here. This segment that I'm going to be talking about is only applicable to those of you that are inside of the United States that are adjusting your status from in the United States. Again, most of our clients doing this are on a student visa inside the United States. And so typically with the I-140 immigrant petition, the attorney will also submit the I-485 adjustment of status and the I-765 EAD work permit. That's an employment authorization document. The EAD card is the work permit that you get in your hand that allows you to work for your employer. So this stage of the process is, again, only for people inside of the United States. If you're doing this process from your home country, there is no work permit. There is no adjustment of status. Your 485 adjustment of status is a document submitted to USCIS from your attorney, and that is a document stating that you are in the United States, you're on a non-immigrant visa, and you are petitioning to adjust your status to a permanent green card. So the 485 adjustment of status is you officially declaring, your intention to migrate, your intention to stay permanently in the United States. And then your 485 is filed at the same time concurrently with your I-765 EAD card. So those are filed together at one time. Your 485 is your green card petition. So your I-485 is approved. That means your green card is approved. Typically, you will get your I-765 EAD card approved first. And then later in the process, you will have an I-485 interview, which we will talk about in a little bit. And then your green card will get approved. So again, the only clients that will get a work permit is adjustment of status clients that are in the United States. Your work permit that you get allows you to start working for your employer before you get your green card approved. BDV strongly advises all of our clients to relocate and start working for their sponsor employer in their full-time job once they get their work permit. That will help them ultimately, first of all, because when you sign up with BDV Solutions, you sign a contract with us where you commit to work at least 1 year for your employer. So once you get that work permit, you can relocate, start working, and start chunking away at that 1 year period of time that you need to work. Also, working for your sponsor while your green card is still pending can be an advantage to you, because if USCIS has any further questions or doubts that you have a true intention to go work for this unskilled employer, then you can go back to USCIS and say, well, hey, I am working for this employer. They are sponsoring me and I am working for them right now. I have a work permit that is allowing me to work for them. And here are my pay stubs, USCIS, to prove to you that I am in fact working for my employer. So one of the biggest differences between adjusting your status in the United States and doing consular processing from outside the United States is that with adjustment of status, you can actually start working for your sponsor before you get your green card. It's not the same if you're doing consular processing. With consular processing, you go through the entire process from your home country and you get your visa approved in your home country. That visa that you get approved in your home country is your green card. So you can't work for your employer until you're in the United States. So with consular processing, you get your green card you come to the United States and then you start working for your employer. You don't need a work permit because you enter the United States on a green card, which allows you to work. So, and the last thing here with the EAD, your I-765 EAD is also filed with an I-131 travel parole. So your EAD card that you get is also known as a combo card. And that combo card allows you to travel. It allows you to leave the United States and re-enter the United States with your EAD card. So for most of our clients at this stage of the process, when they get their work permit, at that point is when, if you're adjusting your status, you can drop your underlying visa status. So if you are a student and you're studying, or if you're on OPT, and you're doing this process and then you get your work permit through the EB-3 program, then at that point, you don't need to maintain your underlying visa status anymore. You can drop your student status, you have your I-140 approved, and you have your work permit in hand. At that point, you can relocate and you can start working for your employer. So yeah. Next step here, we're going to split these up kind of in two different steps. Now we're going to talk about consular processing in particular. So you have an approved labor certification, approved I-140. After your I-140 is approved, if you are outside of the United States, your attorney will file your DS-260. The DS-260 is a document, again, submitted with the National Visa Center, also known as the NVC. And that is a document that is stating, National Visa Center, I'm an attorney and my client has an approved labor certification, an approved I-140, and they are ready for their visa interview at the local U.S. consulate where they are living. And so the National Visa Center will get that DS-260 and they will begin scheduling the applicant's interview at the U.S. Embassy or U.S. consulate where they are living. When the attorney files the DS-260, they will also have to submit some additional documents, which include a police certificate of just a background check of you from your local police, and then some medical documents as well. So you'll have to go to a doctor and get an exam and submit those medical documents to the government with that DS-260. So this is just for consular processing, again, for people outside the United States. The last step of consular processing is the interview. So you will go to the U.S. Embassy or consulate and you will have an interview face-to-face with a diplomat, with a U.S. consular officer, and they will ask you questions. They will review your documentation, and in that interview, they will either grant you your visa or they will deny your visa, or they will put you in what's called administrative processing. When you go into that interview, if you're married and you have children that are applying with you as your dependents, your entire family will go into that visa interview together. So it'll be a face-to-face interview with your family and that visa officer. They will ask you questions, maybe, it really just depends. Every single person is going to have a unique experience because every single visa officer is a different person. So I've seen clients that have had hour-long visa interviews, which were a lot more difficult. I've seen other clients that have had visa interviews that lasted 2 minutes. So it really just depends on who your visa officer is and kind of how they see your case. One great thing about BDV Solutions is that included in our fees is an Argo Visa consultation. Argo Visa is a sister company of BDV Solutions, and Argo works with former U.S. consular officers. These are people who used to work in U.S. embassies and U.S. consulates all around the world. And Argo will connect you with a former U.S. consular officer that will prepare you for your visa interview. So you're not going to go into that interview totally blind, not sure what to say. You're going to have an interview preparation before your interview, and you're going to go into that interview confident. You're going to know what questions you're going to be asked. You're going to know how to answer those questions. And hopefully through that preparation, you're going to get your visa approved. Getting a visa denied at this step of the process is incredibly rare, because you have a approved labor certificate from the Department of Labor, approved I-140 from USCIS. And so the last step, this interview, is really only about you. So these other two steps of the process, the labor certification and the I-140, those really have a little bit more to do with your employer, whereas your interview, your consular interview, is really having a lot to do with you personally. The officer doesn't want to let anyone into the United States that isn't supposed to be in the United States. So they're going to be just double checking you, your background, making sure that you are safe and eligible to enter the United States. They might ask you about your employer. They might ask you about your job. It's important to be informed and know what you're going to be doing, what your job is, where it's located. But again, your Argo visa consultation will prepare you for that. When you get your visa approved in the consulate, you will get a physical visa in your passport, a visa stamp that goes in your passport. That visa that you get serves as a temporary green card for a 1-year period. So that visa allows you to enter the United States. It is a green card visa. It's a permanent visa. So once you enter the US with it, you enter the United States as a permanent resident. Although you don't have your physical green card in hand, you have your temporary green card, which is in your passport. And then once you enter the United States, typically your green card is mailed to you within 3 to 4 weeks from USCIS. So when you enter the US, the Customs and Border Patrol officer will ask you, they will see you're entering on a immigrant visa, and they will ask you where you want USCIS to mail your green card. At that point, for consular processing, you're got it. Your visa's approved, your green card's approved, and then you will enter the United States and you will start working for your employer. Our client services team at BDV Solutions works with all of our clients that are starting to work for their sponsors. So client services will help you find an apartment or a house near your location where you're working, close to your work site. If you have family, if you have children, client services will help you find local public schools in the area that you can enroll your children in. Public school in the United States is free. So our client services team is there to help you relocate, get situated, get accommodated in a new place. We will help you, get your driver's license. If you are religious, we will help you find a synagogue or a mosque or a church in your area. So generally, we're just here our client services is there to make your transition more smooth. So ultimately, you can go and start working for your employer and be a good employee. That is consular processing. So consular processing is simple. It's labor certification, I-140, DS-260, and then visa interview. Those 4 steps, and then you enter the United States. You will have your green card once you enter the United States, and then you can start working for your employer. So now we're going to talk about the 485 interview. 485 interview is for adjustment of status applicants that are inside the United States. Lately, not everyone has been getting 485 interviews. A lot of people have just been getting 485s approved with no interview. So if your 485 is approved with no interview, you don't have to go in to USCIS and have a face-to-face interview. When Barack Obama was president in 2016 and all the years before that, employment-based adjustment of status visas did not have interviews. When Donald Trump became president in 2017, they implemented the 485 interview for employment-based visas. So over the past 4 years, most of our clients have had to go in to a USCIS field office, a local USCIS field office typically one that is located near their employer sponsor, and have a face-to-face interview with a USCIS officer. Again, with adjustment of status, you will have an Argo visa consultation that is included in our fees, and that will prepare you for that interview. If you have one, you might not even have one. You might get lucky and not have to have an interview. But in the case that you do, you want to be as prepared as possible for that interview, and Argo will help you prepare for that. And Argo also has USCIS, former USCIS officers on their staff that will talk to you about that interview, the 485 interview, and prepare you for that. Like I said, in a lot of cases these days, a lot of people aren't getting 485 interviews and they're just getting their green cards approved. It's very relieving for these clients because they don't have to have this face-to-face interaction with USCIS, which can be incredibly nerve-wracking and stressful. But, some people are still getting interviews. So it's important to be prepared for whatever comes. That 485 interview is really going to be similar to the consular interview. They're going to be looking at your 485 that you submitted to them, which is a series of yes or no questions about you. Their job is to make sure that you are eligible to receive a green card. So they can ask you questions. They can, make sure that you have true intention to go work for your employer. And that's what they will do. That's their job at that 485 stage, is to ensure that you did this legitimately, legally, you haven't violated your visa in the past. And this is the last step of the process. Typically our clients at this point, when they're having their interview, they're already working for their employer on their work permit. So that in many cases can be an advantage going into the interview, because the USCIS officer in that case can't question your intention of going and actually working for the employer in the unskilled job. They can't question your intention because you're already working there, and you can prove that by bringing your pay stubs. We've had many clients that are working on the day of their interview, and so they go into their interview with their uniform on. And I mean, it's just going in there while you're wearing your uniform. Obviously, if you have a McDonald's uniform, you're going to work McDonald's after the interview is over. So in many cases, working for your sponsor before that interview, once you get your work permit, it's helpful for you. And on top of that, you can finish your 1-year commitment with that employer faster because you started working sooner. So this is generally the process and how it works. And I know that this was a lot of information. I've been talking for like almost 50 minutes now, but I want you to be able to understand this process and how it works and how it actually flows. At this point, I am going to go ahead and go through these comments. I have a lot of comments, so thank you for engaging with me. And I'm going to go through these questions and try to answer them for y'all. So if you have any questions or something that might have came up, please go ahead and type it now so I can read it and give you the answer you're looking for. Okay, Karen, thank you for asking this question. Does the sponsor need to submit the documents online or by mail when a labor certification is audited? Many times those audits are submitted by mail because it really just depends though what your audit is. Every audit could potentially be something different. So depending on what your audit is, they might be able to submit documents online to them. They might have to mail some things into Department of Labor. It really just depends exactly what your audit is. BDV will work with that employer to make sure that they're doing everything correctly at that stage when responding to that audit. Okay. Is it possible to apply for this program while being a student or after graduated? Yes, you can apply if you are currently studying in the United States, if you're on an F1 visa. I have a few clients who literally just got here in the United States, and they've been here for 3 or 4 months. They found out about this program and they decided that they wanted to do it. So even if you're in the middle of your studies, you can still start this process. For adjustment of status, it's important to understand that you're going to be maintaining your underlying status while the EB3 process is going on. So the two processes you're here on your student visa, and then your EB3 process is going. They don't ever touch each other. They don't interact with each other, the two processes. They're going at the same time. So you have to keep an active status if you're adjusting your status until you have your I-140 approved, and ideally you have that work permit in your hands. So when you're adjusting status, you're going to need time in status to apply for this. If your status is going to expire in 1 month, you have to figure something out or have a backup plan readily available so that you can keep your status active, as long as you need to. All right. If you graduated, you can still, you can still apply for this. We have a ton of clients that are on OPT, optional practical training, which is post-completion OPT. You have completed your degree in the United States, and now you have a period of time where you're able to work for an employer that is related to your field of study. STEM OPT, regular OPT, it doesn't matter. We have a lot of clients that apply for this while they are on OPT. What is important is that you're in status. It doesn't matter if you're studying, if you're on your F1 visa, if you have an I-20, if you're on OPT, all of those are active statuses. So as long as you're in status, you can apply for this. It's better to start sooner because when you start sooner, you have more time in status. You have more time until your expiration, and therefore you have less risk of having to go and extend your visa again. We have some clients that apply around the end of their OPT, but they need more time after their OPT in status. So many people will have to go back to school, get another I-20 from another college, re-enroll in school again, pay tuition again. Ultimately, it becomes really expensive for people who wait because they're having to go back and continue maintaining their student visa longer than they anticipated to. So in every single case for adjustment of status, it is always better for you to start the process sooner rather than later, or it could potentially cost you a lot more. Yeah, hope that answered. All right, great question here. Since I'm hearing about EB3 Unskilled for the first time, I'm a little confused about how you can proceed. Although you've watched the video, can you be eligible? So anyone can apply for this, and this is something that a lot of people get confused with is can I apply? How do I apply? Here it is. If you haven't already, please create an account on our website, www.bdvsolutions.com. That is where you will create an account with us. If you want to just simply learn more about this process, create an account. Even if you don't have an intention to sign up, you can still create an account. And the first thing it's going to push you to is an onboarding webinar. It's about a 20 to 30 minute series of videos, which introduces our team, our company here, BDV, the services we provide. We talk about this program similar to what I have just done here. So if you haven't already, create an account on our website. Once you complete that onboarding webinar, it will take you to a questionnaire. The questionnaire is a series of yes or no questions about you, and that is what's going to determine your eligibility for our services. BDV does not accept any client that we don't feel confident that we can get them through the process successfully. So even if you really want to apply for this, but you have some sort of disqualification for a green card, we will not accept your case. Even if you want to take the risk and try to do it anyway, BDV will not accept anyone's case unless we feel confident that they can successfully get their green card through this program. We're not here to take your money if we don't think that we can actually help you. And I think that could be something that definitely makes BDV stand out from other agencies. We want to help you. We have the same goal as you, which is for you to get your green card. We don't just want your money. We want you to succeed through this program. So yeah, let's go here. Could the discussion by the bill in the Senate improve the immigration system for those who are on work visas? there has been a lot of talks of immigration reform in the United States. I would like to repeat that the Immigration and Nationality Act of 1990 is the last time that the United States has had immigration reform. It's been over 30 years since the United States has had immigration reform. It's absolutely bonkers. It's crazy, in my opinion. But this is the nature of our government and politics, and the Democrats and the Republicans can't agree on anything. And so we have been living with this same employment-based immigration system for over 30 years. The numbers haven't changed. Nothing has changed. The quotas haven't changed. Nothing has changed. So this is the exact same system. It's going to take something very significant for immigration reform to actually happen. I feel confident that in the future, when we do see immigration reform for the United States, it will be helpful to those who are applying for a visa like this. The EB3 unskilled category right now, in my opinion, is the ultimate solution for the United States right now, because we have this huge problem of labor. And the EB3 unskilled program solves that problem of labor by going and offering a green card to foreign nationals that are willing to work in these jobs that Americans are not working in. So our immigration system is just messed up right now. It's true. It's just crazy. But I highly doubt that anything is going to change that is going to negatively impact this program. If anything changes, I see it improving this program, making this program bigger, allowing more people to apply for this every year. So it's a good question. There's a lot of news, a lot of rhetoric about immigration in the United States. I've been listening to it and watching it for years. Nothing has changed all throughout these years that I've been involved in this. So take that with, whatever you want, but I wouldn't worry about any sort of immigration changes right now. Am I from Bangladesh? Can I apply? Yes, you can absolutely apply from Bangladesh. It's just, you can do this through consular processing from Bangladesh. BDV has a lot of applicants in Bangladesh right now that are waiting for the embassy in Dhaka to open back up so they can start scheduling visa interviews again for immigrant visas. So yeah, you can apply for this. BDV has a lot of clients at the labor cert and I-140 approval stage that are just waiting for the embassy to open back up because of COVID and for them to have their interview. So yes, you can apply from Bangladesh. This is a good question, and it's just important for everyone to hear this so you can understand the way that this system is working. Can you please share some insight regarding consular processing from Vietnam? In Vietnam, the EB3 Unskilled program has been a well-known thing for a long time. Before I knew about EB3 Unskilled, before I started working at BDV, in Vietnam, there are a lot of agencies and there are a lot of consultants that are providing a similar service to us. Unfortunately, there was a lot of fraud and there was a lot of, just manipulation involved in that whole process with agencies and foreign nationals really not knowing what they're signing up for. I would say for the past 5 years in Vietnam embassy has not been processing any EB3 unskilled cases. They've not really approved any of them. There's thousands of people from Vietnam that have applied for this and that are waiting at the Vietnam consulate for their interview, or they've had an interview and USCIS received their case back from the State Department. Ultimately, I think that there's thousands of people that have applied for this with real legitimate employers who've gone through this legal immigration process. The embassy, all the embassies operate on their own. So the embassy in Vietnam is not going to be the same as the embassy in Albania. It's not going to be the same as the embassy in Brazil. Every single one of those embassies is kind of operating independently. But in Vietnam right now, for consular processing, it's not a great situation. You can get your labor certification approved, your I-140 approved, and you will have that I-140 approval forever. But to actually go and get your visa approved from that embassy right now, it's just something that's not happening. I think that in the future, it will happen. I think that the embassies will eventually have to open up the floodgates and start approving those visas, because these people that are waiting have done this process legitimately with a real employer with a labor shortage. So, I mean, I don't want to discourage anyone from Vietnam to apply for this visa, because I truly believe that eventually that embassy is going to open up and they're going to start processing these visas again. But at the same time, it's important to make the best decision for yourself, and just know what you're getting into, and just know that if you sign up for this, you might be waiting longer if you're in Vietnam. So I hope that answers your question. If someone has a non-immigrant student visa refusal, does this negatively impact the EB-3 visa? In most cases, no. It really depends why you were rejected, but most of the time, non-immigrant visas are denied for no reason at all. A lot of people will get denied for 241B or 214B, which is just kind of a general denial. They don't really give you a specific reason. We have hundreds of clients that have been previously denied non-immigrant visas that have successfully gone through this program and gotten their green cards. So in most cases, no, those non-immigrant visas do not play any role into your EB-3 visa application. If you want more details on this, I made a video with Mandy Feuerbacher. It's in our YouTube. It's on our YouTube channel, and you can watch that. And we kind of discussed this question in a little bit more detail. But the short answer is no, it's probably not going to have any effect on you. Great question here. There's no refund policy. It's true, everyone. There's no refund policy. I know it sounds crazy, but there's a reason why we don't have a refund policy. And in my opinion, we don't need a refund policy, because our policy is better than a refund policy. When you sign up with BDV, you commit to signing up with us and sticking with us for your application for the duration of your entire process. At no point will we offer you a refund once you sign up. If you are rejected at any point in the process and it's not your fault and it doesn't have something to do with you personally, if it's a mistake from the employer, or if the attorney made a mistake when they were filing and it caused you to get rejected, BDV will refile you again with a new employer at no extra cost to you. You will start the process back over from the beginning with a new employer. You won't lose money, you will lose time. So this is why I'm telling you that you have to commit to this program, because even if that happens, it's a rare circumstance in the first place to get denied. But if it does happen and it's not your fault, BDV is there for you. We have you covered. We will have another employer that you can sign up with and start the process again. So we don't have a refund policy, but this policy is better than a refund policy, because at the end of the day, your objective is to get a green card. It's not to get your money back because you're upset. You have to have confidence in us and in our team when you sign up with us, that even if something goes wrong, we will be there for you to get you through the next time. Many of our clients have dealt with this. Many clients have gotten denied and it wasn't their fault and had to go back and start again. And a lot of those people were successful their second time around. So it's frustrating. It can, be really annoying and really, really frustrating for you. But at the end of the day, we are here for you to obtain your green card and for you to reach your objective. So yeah, we don't have a refund policy. Sorry, Leonardo, I'm not really sure this question. You might have to ask me this one later. Do adjustment of status and consular take the same time? Right now, adjustment of status is definitely faster. Most cases for adjustment of status are taking around 18 to 24 months on average. Some of those cases are, longer. Some of those cases are shorter. It really just depends. Every case is going to be a little bit different, but most adjustment of status is taking between 18 and 24 months right now. And then consular processing, it really, really depends right now in this particular moment, because pretty much all of the US embassies around the world are operating independently, and most of them are not doing immigrant visa interviews. So a lot of people have been waiting for now almost a year and a half since COVID last year, since COVID came in March 2020. A lot of these embassies have not opened up immigrant visa interviews yet. So a lot of people have been waiting significantly longer than they had expected in the beginning. And it's an unfortunate situation. With that being said, there are some embassies that are doing immigrant visa interviews. I just posted one yesterday in our Facebook group, or 2 days ago, of a couple that is from Russia. They were living in Spain, and they got their visas approved from the consulate in Spain. So it's really a case-by-case basis with consular processing right now. That should not deter you from signing up for consular processing, because you still have to go through the labor certification and the I-140 stage of the process before you even get to that interview. So sign up so you can get your labor certification approved and your I-140 approved. And then at that point, you're going to be waiting in line until your embassy starts doing interviews again, and you'll be ready to go and move forward. So I'm recommending for people to sign up for consular processing now, even if they're a little bit skeptical. I mean, I'm encouraging it because I feel confident that that is the best decision for them. Hope that answers your question. Let's take a look. I'm just looking through these questions here. I have a lot of them, so I'm just going through one by one. Can you do the process if I already have a sponsor? No. BDV works exclusively with our network of employers. If you have your own sponsor, you're going to have to go try to figure this out on your own. You probably need to contact an immigration attorney to help you with it. The reason why people sign up with BDV is because of our experience in helping multiple different types of employers go through this process successfully. Trying this with an employer that's never done it before can be a big waste of time. And a lot of people have wasted their time trying to do that and ultimately come back to BDV. If you think that you can do it, try it. I mean, I wish you the best of luck to try to get sponsored from your own sponsor. But I will tell you, it's incredibly competitive and incredibly difficult. And that's why a lot of people will, end up, signing up with BDV. I've been following you keenly, but have not seen any from Africa, especially West Africa. Is that your focus is not Africa centered? Also, I think your first payment is $10,000. Hello, William. Thanks for watching. You can apply for this from Africa. We have several clients from Africa. In fact, recently we had a consular processing case from Nigeria, from Lagos, get approved. We have a lot of clients in Nigeria, and a handful from other clients or from other countries in Africa: Angola, Kenya, Congo, South Africa. We have a lot of clients from South Africa. So you can apply for this from Africa. There aren't a lot of Africans that we have compared to other countries and other continents. We have a lot of people from South America, a lot of people from Asia, and a lot of people from Europe as well. I would say that Africa is probably our least represented continent. So, we would love more clients from Africa. We would love to help you. The first payment for consular processing is $10,000. It is expensive. There's no way around that. I'm not going to try to beat around the bush and act like it's not expensive. The program is expensive, but in my opinion, it's totally worth it. At the end of the day, it's you that has to have trust in us and faith in this system. And you have to be willing to put that money on the line there. But at the end of the day, BDV is going to help you all the way through this process, hold your hand, regardless of where you're living. If you're in Africa, we'll help you. And we don't have offices in other countries. We have one office here in Greenville, South Carolina. We work with all of our clients from all around the world. So we don't have agents, we don't have referrers, we don't work with third parties that help us find clients. People find BDV because of our reputation and because we have a lot of clients who've successfully gone through this program. We don't need to go find clients. So we don't work with other reps and agents in your home countries. It's just something that we don't see necessary. We want to communicate with you directly as the client, and that's what we do. And our team will work with you directly from our office here in Greenville to wherever you are living, and we will be here helping you through that process. Okay, great question here. Under the EB3 program, how long do I have to work for the company before I can quit the job and start working somewhere else? When you sign up with BDV, you sign a contract with us, with our company in the very beginning, where you will commit to work at least 12 months for your employer sponsor. So you need to work at least 12 months in a full-time job with your sponsor. That is something that you sign with BDV in the beginning. You do not have a contract directly with your employer. So the only obligation you really have is to us, to BDV, to commit to working that 1 year. You have to understand that these employers would not be willing to go through this process and sponsor you for a green card if you weren't willing to work for them for a significant amount of time. So the reason why employers do this is because you're willing to work that 1 year. It is important for you to stay with that company for at least 1 year. Not only is it going to secure your green card and ensure that the government doesn't believe that you tried to fraudulently obtain a green card, but it also protects the integrity of this entire visa program. It's important for you to work that full year with that employer. If you don't work that full year with that employer, at the end of the day, these are jobs that are at will. So the employer can fire you at any time they want to, and technically you can quit at any time that you want to. But you need to go and work for that employer in the full-time job. You need to be a good employee, show up on time, do your job, because ultimately if the employer feels like you took advantage of them and you didn't really have a true intention to go work for them, the employer will report you to USCIS, and USCIS has the ability to revoke your green card and deport you from the United States. You don't want to risk that. So you want to make sure that you're doing this program legitimately the way it was intended to be done, which is you going and working for that sponsor. A lot of people will ask me, well, what if the employer fires me or something? We have thousands of clients. All of the employers that we work with are not eager to fire anybody because they are suffering from severe labor shortages. They don't want to fire anyone. So you have to really go in there and not be a good worker to get fired. Any sort of issues that our clients have with the employer when they're working, BDV will be there to mitigate through those issues. Most of our clients have no problems. They go through the process, they work for their employer, they do their job, they work for a year. Some of them work for longer than a year, and then they'll quit that job and they'll move on to something else. This green card doesn't restrict you from working. You can work anywhere you want. You can work part-time in other places while you're working for your sponsor. But what is important is that your priority is with your sponsor during that 1 year period. Your priority needs to be working for that sponsor in that full-time job for that 1 year period. We have many clients that will drive Uber, drive Lyft on the side, make additional income. That is totally fine. And you have the ability to do that. But you need to work at least a year. If you don't have the intention to work at least 1 year, don't sign up for this program because you're going to lose money. You're going to get yourself in trouble, and you're going to upset me and you're going to upset your employer. So if you don't have the true intention to go work for your employer, this is not the program for you. It's just not. Go do EB-5 or something else where you don't have to work. But this is employment-based visa, and you have to work. So if you don't want to work in an unskilled job, or if you think you're too good for an unskilled job, or you're better than that, then this isn't the program for you. It's as simple as that. And I have so many people that come to me and say, oh, well, I'm a lawyer. Do you have any lawyer jobs? And I'm thinking, no, this is unskilled. This is the unskilled program. These jobs are always going to be unskilled. They're not going to be related to your field of study. They're not going to be related to your current occupation if you're a lawyer. But look, we have people, we have doctors, we have lawyers. We had someone who was a TV news reporter in South Korea that came and did this program, and they worked as a janitor. So the jobs are not going to be related to your background at all, probably. Now, we do have some more employers more recently that are manufacturing related, and those employers have other higher level jobs that might relate to your field. Another great thing about this program is that you have to start in that entry level job with your employer, but nothing stops you from getting promoted, from them changing your role to something that they see better fit for you. Recently, we had a client. He's working in Kansas at a pet food manufacturer, and he started off as a production worker working on the production line, and he had skills that the employer needed for another job, and now he's doing IT work for this employer. So nothing stops you from getting a bonus. Nothing stops you from getting promoted. You will start in that entry-level position, but that's it. Okay. Mitchell, do you think the current approval times will be improved? We saw that with COVID, the time has been very long. COVID has been obnoxiously long, especially for consular processing clients. I predict, this is just a prediction, but I predict that in the future, we're going to see processing times speeding up. The processing times, in my opinion, are just crazy in the first place. The government knows that these employers have labor shortages and they need workers as soon as possible. So as long as this problem in our economy continues, I foresee that the government is going to become more and more accommodating to these employers that are utilizing the legal immigration system. COVID has obviously played a big role in processing times. It slowed down processing times for adjustment of status and consular processing. But now we're seeing adjustment of status really starting to speed up. And I think we'll see that with consular processing as well in the future. Is it possible to apply EB3 while on F1 before graduated? Yes, you don't need to be graduated. You can be in the middle of your studies. Simple as that. I already answered this question here about the refund. We don't offer refunds, but if you're rejected at any point in the process and it's not your fault, then BDV will refile you again with a new employer at no extra cost. If it is your fault and you got denied for something that is your fault, then in the beginning of this program, when you sign up with us, you probably lied to us about something, because our job, my goal, and what I do on a daily basis is review applications of people that sign up. And I am responsible to make sure that no one gets through that has a disqualification for a green card. I don't want you to sign up for this program if you're going to get denied for something that has to do with you. I don't want you to lose all your money. So I'm going to tell you at the beginning, no, sorry, we can't accept your case because we're not confident that you can successfully get through the program. So again, our policy is going to cover you if you're rejected for something that went wrong with the employer or the attorney, something that's not related to you. Can we apply for it when we are in the U.S., or does the candidate have to be outside the U.S.? You can apply for it whether you're in the United States or outside the United States. We do not accept tourist visa, B visa, for adjustment of status. So if you're on a B visa, you can still apply for this program, but you're going to have to go back to your home country and do the program through consular processing. We do also have several applicants who have entered the United States on a tourist visa, and then they adjusted their tourist visa to a student visa. And then eventually they started their EB3 process once they were here on a student visa. So I have a B1 visa, live outside the US. Do I need an F1 visa prior to the EB3, or you can do directly B1? You can apply directly from your home country. So it doesn't matter what kind of visa you have. You don't need any visa to apply for this. We have lots of clients that have never had a US visa ever. People that have never been to the United States have signed up for this program. So again, we don't accept B visa for adjustment of status in the US, but you can apply for consular processing from your home country. Another good question here. So a lot of green card approvals from sponsors in South Carolina. Does the green card approval depend on what sponsor we choose? No, it doesn't. The reason why you're seeing a lot from South Carolina, when I first started working at BDV in 2017, all of our sponsors were in South Carolina. So now, and for the first 2 years of working at BDV, most of our sponsors were in South Carolina. So those people that applied, 2-3 years ago that are getting their green cards now, you're seeing all of those beginning cases, which a lot of those were from South Carolina employers. So a lot of people have this idea that South Carolina is the fastest state or South Carolina is the best state. I live in South Carolina. I love South Carolina. I was born and raised here. I think that this is the best state personally, but no, it really doesn't have any effect on where your sponsor is located. With that being said, South Carolina is a great place to live. We have sponsors in South Carolina now that you can choose. I love South Carolina, and a lot of our clients have relocated here and fallen in love with South Carolina as well. So no, it doesn't matter what state you apply for, but it's really totally up to you where you apply. All right, let's see. All right, so this question from a Facebook user is talking about the consular. So there's 2 different fees that we have. Adjustment of status. If you're in the United States, you're paying one fee. Consular processing, there are different fees. For consular processing, the option A is around $26,500. Our costs are all inclusive. So everything is going to be covered in that fee. I-140 premium processing, all of your legal fees, all of your government fees, all of the consulting fees to BDV Solutions, your Argo visa consultation, all of that is included in there. The only additional fees that you're going to incur through this process is if you have dependents, if you have a spouse or children under the age of 21 that are filing with you, there are additional dependent fees around $1,000 to $2,000 per dependent. Those fees are paid directly to your attorney at the time of the I-140 filing. Those are the only additional fees outside of the main fees that you'll see on our website. Besides that, the only additional costs that you might have are, some medical exams where you might have to go to a doctor's office and pay, the doctor to give you that exam. But for the most part, our fee includes everything. All right, we got a long message here. Currently living in Florida, planning to apply for EB3, doing PhD, a little bit worried. I've heard that it would be difficult to convince the officer in the interview if you have a higher degree. That is true. You can apply for this while you're on a PhD. It's totally fine. I have one client that stands out to me in particular. He had 2 PhDs from 2 different US universities, and he successfully got his green card through this program with BDV working as a janitor. So the officer might ask you, why are you doing the unskilled program if you have a PhD? You need to go in there and you need to be honest with the officer. That's what the officer wants to hear. They don't want to hear some bullshit response. Excuse my language, but they don't want to hear you just make up an answer that's not true. So you can go in there and say, look, I have a PhD in mechanical engineering. I tried to find a job with my employer or with an employer related to my degree, but I couldn't find one. But I found this other option. I found this other employer that is willing to sponsor me for this job, although it is unskilled. And, I'm willing to do this job. And then, if you're in the United States and you have your work permit, you should be working for that employer at the time of your interview. You can say, yeah, I have a PhD. but I'm willing to work as a janitor, or I'm willing to work in McDonald's. In fact, I'm working there right now. Here are my pay stubs to prove to you that although I have a higher degree, I have a true intention to work for this employer. So it's simple. You can't be overqualified for this process. So they cannot reject your application because you're overqualified. It's just not possible. It's never happened. All right. This is a current client of ours. Audit, I guess your labor certification got an audit. The audit is due the 10th of this month. You don't need to worry. Our staff is on top of it. We are working with the employers to make sure that they're responding to all of the audits and everything by the due date. You don't need to worry. This is why people hire us, because we are going to help you through every single step of that process. Don't worry. And if you have questions, you can always send our staff a chat in your BDV account, ask for updates, and they will be able to help you. I answered this question 3 times already, but yes, you can apply while being a student here. Absolutely. How long does it usually take to answer an RFE? This is a great question, Leonardo. It really depends on what that RFE is. RFEs are going to be totally different in many cases. Usually it'll take them a month or 2 to get the RFE, prepare everything that they need to respond to the RFE, review that RFE, and then make sure everything's okay, and then they submit it. Usually it'll take around 1 to 2 months, but again, it really depends on the RFE. And to this point, the service that we provide our clients is a tailored service to you as an individual, because your case and the way that your case processes is not necessarily going to be the same as your friend's case. Even if you signed up for the same employer, your cases are not going to be exactly the same. So the service that we provide to you is a tailored service based on you, based on your case, how your case processes. And, we have thousands of clients. So we have a lot of experience with RFEs, with labor certification audits. We've seen a lot of this. So I think experience, again, just pointing out some things that separate BDV from other agencies, other consultants, is that we have a lot of experience, hyper-focused in EB3 Unskilled, to help you understand this process and to help you get through it successfully. All right, let's keep scrolling down here. Is it possible to get an RFE from USCIS if you're applying for consular processing? Yes. You still have an I-140 that's filed with USCIS if you're doing consular processing. So you can definitely get an RFE. Totally possible. Can we do it if we're in the USA with a visitor visa? No, we do not accept adjustment of status for B visa. So you can do this process from your home country. Would it be a problem if you're currently on OPT but still want to apply? Not a problem. Not a problem to apply while you're on OPT. You can absolutely apply for this while you're on OPT. It's better to start sooner, because if you're on OPT and you only have 6 months left, you might have to have a backup plan to keep your status active longer. A lot of our clients that get themselves in that situation will have to go back, find another school, get a new I-20 with that school, and stay in status. What if the I-765 work permit is approved before the I-140? This is a unique case. Most of the time, this doesn't happen. Most of the time, the I-140 is approved first and then the work permit. But this is something that you'll want to talk to your attorney about. Your attorney will let you know whether they think it's smart for you to go relocate and start working for your sponsor with that work permit, or whether it's best for you to wait till you get your I-140 approved and then go working. So it's really just going to be a case-by-case thing here. You should talk to your attorney and they will help you out. Do you need a consular interview if you're already in the US? No. If you're in the US, you will do adjustment of status, and your adjustment of status interview takes place in the United States, if you even have one. But if you do, it will take place at a local USCIS field office in the United States. let's say my I-140 has been approved, but then the 765 and 485 got rejected. Then what will happen? Is there any way I can go back to my F status? I've gotten this question 1,000 times. I've really never been able to give a clear answer, because for you to get rejected at that 485, you have done something to cause yourself to get rejected. If your labor certification and your I-140 are approved and your 485 is rejected, you have a bigger problem on your hands, because if your 485 got rejected, USCIS likely discovered something about you that you did that was illegal or that was wrong. And so in those cases, no, you couldn't get your F1 status back. You'd probably get deported and not be able to come back to the United States for a long time. This case is just incredibly rare. I've been doing this since 2017. I have seen one BDV applicant get rejected at the 485 stage. He got rejected because he committed fraud, and for his OPT in particular, and paid a company to just give him an offer letter for OPT, which you can't do that if you're on OPT. And he got caught. And so he went through this program. He got the labor certification, got the I-140. And then when they were adjudicating his 45, they realized that he had violated his student visa. He got rejected. He is probably going to get deported and, probably lost his money. This is why in the beginning of the process, we try to figure out if you have any sort of complication that might cause you to get rejected. We don't want to have to deal with something like this for you. So if you have something that's questionable in the beginning, we will say, sorry, this program is not for you. So again, if you're rejected in the 485, you're probably never going to be able to go back to your F1 status, because you probably have a lot bigger of a problem on your hand. Again, this question is something that so many people ask, but no one ever really actually has to deal with this or try to get their F1 status back. Labor certification audits right now are taking around 6 months. So 6 months of audit, or 6 months of analyst review, and then you'll get audited right now at that 6-month period. And then usually it's taking an additional 6 months of audit processing till you get approved. When do I need to check inspection in the process if that factor is required by the employer? Inspection, I'm not really sure what you mean by inspection. So I need a little bit of information there. All right, let's see here. It seems that consular interviews based in rich countries normally reject applications. Administrative processing is common. Consuls seem to say you can make more money here where you are now. There is no proof of unemployment in the area you applied. Consular interviews in rich countries will most likely be denied. That's not true. That's not true at all, because France, if you would consider France a rich country, we've had several visa approvals out of France, Spain, South Africa. I mean, Canada, visa approvals from all different countries. So this is just not correct information, not true information. It doesn't really matter what embassy or what country you're applying from. It's an employment-based visa. The U.S. employer is allowed to sponsor green cards through this program if they have a labor shortage. It's as simple as that. If the employer has done everything right, and if you as the applicant have not done anything wrong, boom, you have a marriage between you and your employer, and ultimately those cases will get approved. It doesn't matter if you're from a rich country or a poor country. That's just false information. I'm now in the USA on political asylum. Hearing is pending. Can I convert my case? If you're on asylum, what I would recommend for you to do is create an account on our website so I can talk to you about your specific case. It really is a little confusing here, and it really just kind of depends. So create an account on our website, and I will chat with you directly. You will talk to me, Mitchell Saum, here, real person, and I will talk to you about your case and see if you will be eligible for this or not. Has anyone got their green card approved before the EAD card? Yes, that has happened several times recently. We've had several clients get their green cards approved before they got their work permit. That's awesome for them, but you still have to go work for your employer for a year. So even though you get that green card, you still need to go work for your employer. What happens after the year commitment with the employer? It's up to you. You can continue working with that employer if you want to, or you can quit that job and you can do whatever you want with your life. You can go start a business. You can work for a skilled employer. You can do literally whatever you want. You're a permanent resident at that point, and you choose your future. You determine whatever you want to do for yourself. Is it possible to visit your office and pay the money directly since one of your friends is living there? Is it possible since you're in Baton? Yes, we encourage anyone to come visit our office. You can come meet me, meet Britt, meet our team here, and you can see that we're a real legitimate business with a real office, with staff members that are going to be helping you throughout your process. We would love for you to come visit our office. If you are interested in visiting our office, please create an account on our website, send me a chat, and I can schedule an appointment with you. You can apply for this process from Bhutan, and your friend definitely can come visit us and talk to us about it. Oh my goodness. I got a lot more questions here. I'm not sure what this person is talking about. Can I just resign and find another job? Or there are a procedure? You need to work for your sponsor. If you don't have the intention to work for your sponsor for at least a year, don't sign up for this program. Just don't do it. Can I get citizenship and a passport after 5 years? Yes, you can. You can apply for citizenship after you have been a green card holder for 5 years. So you can apply for citizenship and you can get a U.S. passport. Okay. Any sponsor for TPS holders? If you are on TPS, you are likely eligible to apply for this for adjustment of status in the United States. Again, this is kind of a circumstance where I would encourage you to create an account on our website and talk to me. And I will talk to you and we'll try to figure it out together whether you're eligible for this or not. Here's a great question. I am from Bangladesh, living in Saudi Arabia for 14 years. Is it possible to apply from Saudi Arabia for a Bengali citizen? What are the documents required? How much does it cost? How long does it take? New in the group, could you please elaborate? First of all, thank you for being a part of this group. Welcome. You can apply for this from Saudi Arabia, even though you are born in Bangladesh. We have many clients outside of the United States that are living in other places that aren't where they come from. So even though you're in Saudi Arabia, you can still sign up for this process and you can have your interview at the U.S. consulate in the KSA. That is totally fine. Regarding all your other questions about documents and how much it costs and how long it takes, please create an account on our website. Create an account, go through the webinar. It's going to teach you, it's going to explain the cost to you, timing, everything. And you have the ability to chat with me in your account. So please do that. Mexico, you can apply for this from Mexico as well. Totally, absolutely. So I'm applying consular process from Vietnam. Will you get denied? You're probably not going to get denied, but what will happen if you're applying from Vietnam right now is your case is going to probably take a long time. So yeah, you can definitely apply from Vietnam. You're probably not just going to get rejected. In many cases, they'll put your process into administrative processing, and it will take a lot longer to actually get approved. I explained the situation with Vietnam earlier in this live video. So go back and watch this video if you want to learn more about the Vietnam consular situation. Bhutan doesn't have a U.S. consulate or embassy, but your neighboring country, India, does in Delhi. Yes, if that's the case, you will be assigned to the closest consulate to you. It might not be in your home country. It might be a neighboring country that has a U.S. consulate. So yeah, if you're in Bhutan, you'll probably have your interview in Delhi. Bangladeshi wants to do local work in Bangladesh. This is one of the things that sets us apart, is that we don't work with third parties. So unfortunately, I'm sorry, sir. Appreciate your interest in working with us, but that is not our business model. We work directly with our clients from Bangladesh. Look, if we had someone in Bangladesh, we'd probably get a lot more Bangladeshi clients, but that's not our intention. Our intention is to work directly with our clients. We do have a lot of people in Bangladesh that have decided, hey, okay, I don't need someone in an office here in Bangladesh for me to go and bother them all the time and bug them about my case. Ultimately, we are the ones here in Greenville, South Carolina, that are managing your case for you. So dealing with third parties, it's not going to help you at all. And ultimately, it's going to add costs to you for having someone there for you to go follow up with. Our system is designed for you to be able to be in any country in the world, and you can work with us directly. You can contact us through our website, communicate with us through our website. We schedule phone calls with you, whatever. But we don't work with agents or reps. We don't do that. It's just something that we don't need to do at this point, because our reputation has spoken for itself, and people have learned to trust us, even though we're just this online entity to them. But we do have an office. In fact, we're moving offices down the street soon because we've been adding so many more staff members. Our business is growing. We have added 4 or 5 new staff members in the past 3 months. So we are prepared to work with all of our clients. We obviously have a lot of clients now. That's why we needed more staff members. But we're all here actively working on our clients' cases. If you openly tell the consular officer that you plan to work for the employer for only 1 year, could that result in the judgment that you're not sincerely committed to your sponsored position? Yeah, that's a good question. You wouldn't want to go in and say, I'm only working 1 year for the sponsor. The deal is you sign a contract with BDV where you commit to working at least 1 year. So for us, for our relationship, you and us as the client, you need to work at least 1 year. This job is a full-time job. It's a bona fide job offer. You can work as long as you want to. And no, it would not be good for you to go in and say, I'm only working 1 year for this employer and then I'm going to quit. That would be just ridiculous for you to go in and say that in your visa interview. Even if you do plan on doing that, that's not something that you would want to tell the visa officer. This is a full-time job, and you should be planning to work there, indefinitely. And I mean, that's just the way it is. That's just the way it should be. All right. If I start my process with consular processing, but then I change my status to a student, would your process change? It could potentially. Honestly, if you've started this process through consular processing, you might as well just stick with it through consular processing, because for you to get a student visa, go to school, relocate to the United States, pay tuition, not be able to work, it's all just not necessarily worth it at the end of the day, especially if you already started the process from outside your home country. In fact, a lot of people would agree with me and say, if they knew about this program before they got their student visa, they would have never even got a student visa. They would have just applied for EB-3 directly from their home country, because they would have saved a lot of money. It's expensive to come to the United States and be an international student. You don't have the ability to work, so it's tough. But in some cases, yes, you could switch your process, but most people don't do this. All right, let's see. This is going back again to the Vietnam thing. If you're from Vietnam, we have a lot of Vietnamese clients that are in the United States on student visas that have successfully gone through this program. We also have a lot of Vietnamese that are doing consular processing, but from another country. So they're living not in Vietnam, but in another country. And therefore they're doing their visa interview at a different embassy, at a different consulate. So that's kind of what I would say about that. If you're in Vietnam, you can still apply for this. And we have people that sign up from Vietnam all the time. But obviously the situation with the embassy there is a bit unprecedented. So Rishwin, sign up with him. Change your life today. Thank you, Rishwin. Rishwin's a big supporter of us, a client. He's been a client at BDV for looks like over a year now. And I think Rishwin got audited on his labor certification. And now he recently just got his labor cert approved. So Rishwin's going to be moving forward to the next step of the process, the I-140. And Rishwin is living in Malaysia. So he will have his interview probably in Kuala Lumpur, maybe Singapore. I'm not entirely sure where he's going to be. But Rishwin, thanks for the kind words. Appreciate it. After finishing the contract with BDV, what is the next step in the USA if green card is not yet approved? Well, if you're doing this from outside of the United States, remember, you're going to enter the United States with your green card. So you don't have to worry about this because you're going to get your green card and then start working for your employer. So then you just need to complete your contract with BDV and you'll have your green card. If you're doing this inside the United States and you're adjusting your status, we have had a handful of clients who didn't get their green card within that 1 year period of working. And in those cases, the attorney recommended for them to continue working for the sponsor until they got their green card approved. So some of our clients ended up working 18 months, 19 months for their sponsor because they hadn't gotten their green card yet. They didn't really necessarily want to do that, but that was the smart option for them. And you should continue working for your sponsor until you get that green card approved. Rishwin, again, support BDV, really go all out for their clients. They're on your side. It's true. We're on your side. Obviously we have another side of this. That's not my side that I deal with. I deal with y'all, the clients, but Tom Kilby is our business development manager and he deals with all of our sponsors. And so, we want our sponsors to be happy, but really we want our clients to be happy. For me, most importantly, I want our clients to be happy. And I think that BDV really strives to try to do our best to make that happen. Is there any job opportunities for the spouse of the sponsor who will be accompanying the main applicant? Great question. Usually the businesses that are sponsoring the main applicant, they will be willing to give a job offer to the spouse as well if you and your husband or you and your wife would like to work in the same facility. You're totally able to do that if you want. I'm sure our employers will be willing to offer the spouse a job, but then also your spouse will be able to work anywhere they want to in the United States. Whether you're adjusting your status, your spouse will also get a work permit and be able to work anywhere they want to immediately with that work permit. Same with consular processing. You'll enter on a green card. The main applicant needs to work for the sponsor. The spouse can work anywhere they want. So yeah, there's going to be lots of opportunities for the spouse to go and create an income for themselves. A lot of people complain that the wages are so low for this program. And it's true. These are unskilled jobs, so the wages are relatively lower. But you have the ability to work. You have the ability to work and continue working and work wherever you want. So although your priority needs to be with that sponsor and that full-time job, your spouse could go get a skilled job. You could work part-time, drive Uber. You could start your own business. So if you really are determined to come to the United States, you can make this work for yourself. I know that for a fact. I've seen clients. One of my favorite clients is a guy from South Africa, family from South Africa. They were struggling in South Africa financially. And by the time that they paid all of the fees to BDV and everything, he told me, and it's him and his wife and 2 kids, and they had $1,000 in their bank account when they were coming from, after they bought their plane tickets, they had $1,000, and they came to the United States with $1,000. And they've been in the United States now for 1.5 years, and they have a totally new life here in the United States. And so it's really inspiring for me to see these successful stories of these people who are not coming from a whole lot, and then they come here to the United States and they start a whole new life for themselves here. So it's really, really cool. For consular processing, there is always going to be an interview. For adjustment of status, there might not necessarily be an interview, but for consular processing, you will definitely have an interview. All right. I will say, Chandra, thank you. But if you want to contact me, if you would, please send me a chat directly in your BDV account. There's a chat in the bottom right corner on our website. You can talk to me directly there. We have so many clients now. I am bombarded with Facebook messages, emails, phone calls, and chats from our website. Right now, it's too much for me to handle. If you are sending me a message on Facebook, I'm just telling you right now, I have unread messages from August, September, and October. So if you're messaging me on Facebook, I might get back to you in the next 30 days, I hope. But if you really want to get a fast response, create an account on our website and chat with me, because that chat is my priority. It's not my Facebook Messenger. It's not my emails either. It's that chat. So it's free to create an account. You don't have to pay anything in the beginning when you create an account. So create an account and chat with me, and I'm here to answer your questions and help you out. All right, just scrolling through here. Do you need to maintain your non-immigrant status once your 485 and 765 are filed? Technically, once your 485 is filed, you don't need to maintain your status. But what I would recommend is for you to at least wait until your I-140 is approved and your 485 is filed. So once your I-140 is approved and your 485 is filed, really at that point, you're safe to drop your underlying visa status. But many people will also wait until they get their work permit approved and in their hands before they drop. Yep, BDV will notify any clients of any updates. So if their labor cert gets audited, we will definitely notify you. Let's see. Why is BDV so expensive? Other agencies take so much less. That is probably true. And, you know, to be honest, I couldn't tell you what the other agencies are charging. I will tell you that BDV, you know, included in our fees is premium processing for your I-140. You have an Argo visa consultation. And look, BDV has been in this space since 2013 doing EB3 Unskilled. I would say that we probably have the most experience out of any agency that's out there. And in fact, I'll tell you, within the past 2 years, there have been a ton of new agencies that have just started. And signing up with one of these newer agencies is a big risk, in my opinion. They might be cheaper, but they don't have the expertise necessarily to get you through your labor certification audit or the expertise to get you through that RFE. So you can sign up with other agencies, but in my opinion, you know, you pay for what you get, and our service, you know, might be more expensive to you, but we have attorneys in-house. We have staff members in-house that are helping you with all of this. And we have experience on our side is really what it comes down to. You have the ability to make the decision to sign up for this or not, to sign up with another agency or sign up with BDV. It's totally up to you. If you think that we are worth it and our expertise is worth it, that's fine. I will say I've seen a lot of people sign up with other agencies. Their cases weren't successful. And then they come back to BDV and say, oh, well, I wish I signed up with BDV in the first place because I signed up with this other agency and my case didn't go anywhere, you know? and they had no idea what they were doing. I'm not saying that all the agencies are like that, but I am saying I've seen a lot of that in my history here at BDV. So yes, our fees are expensive. There's no way around it. This is an expensive process. It's as simple as that. But you know what else is expensive? It's expensive to come here on a student visa, on a non-immigrant student visa. You're probably going to pay just as much money to come here on a student visa and be an international student, not a green card holder, an international student, and not be able to work here than to sign up for our program and to sign up for our fees. So it's expensive, but it's expensive anyway you come to the United States. And this solution is a permanent solution for you to come to the United States permanently. You and your spouse and your children can come here forever. So just keep that in mind when you're shopping and when you're looking at other agencies and trying to figure it out. But yeah, you'll definitely find cheaper agencies out there. If you feel like that's better for you, then by all means do it. But I will say that BDV is the best. We're the best. It's simple as that. How long does it take to get the EB-3 approval from Pakistan? It's tough to say. Every single embassy is a little bit different right now, and COVID obviously has played a big role in the embassy's processing times. So I couldn't really tell you. I would say for consular processing right now, a good estimate in your head of how long this process will take from beginning to end probably will be around 24 to 36 months. So you're looking around, around 2 to 3 years, 2 to 2.5 years. It could be less time than that as well. I mean, things change, and we've seen a lot of things change in a very short amount of time. So it's tough to really guess, but I would recommend to sign up. How often do you get new sponsors? I see most of them are in South Carolina and Michigan right now. We have a lot of sponsors coming up in the next year. Usually I'm announcing a new sponsor about once a month. I will announce some new sponsors. So usually about once a month, I'll have some new ones. It really just depends. I just announced a new sponsor yesterday, McDonald's franchise in Missouri. So yeah, go check those. You can see all the available jobs that we have when you create an account on our website. Once you complete the webinar and the questionnaire and I approve your account and your application has been approved, then you'll have access to that job pool. You'll be able to see all the available jobs that we have. It'll give you the details of the location, the wage, the job description. You'll be able to see all of that in the account. TPS holders can apply in any state. Yes. This nice guy, BDV is too expensive. Also, this guy, BDV is too expensive. Even with premium processing, it's too expensive. BDV is good, but for me, it's very expensive. It is expensive. I'm telling you, it's expensive. It's definitely expensive, but it's worth it. It's totally worth it. It is expensive, but it's worth it. Every single client that has successfully gone through the program, they don't care about the fees that they paid. They are so happy that they got their green card, and $20,000 to them in a year is not going to mean a whole lot. So it's expensive, but it's worth it. I love this comment. Lamborghinis are expensive too. Things that are valuable are expensive. It's true. It's true. So you pay for what you get. I truly believe that you pay for what you get. And yes, our fees might be a little bit more than some of our competitors, other agencies. But things that are valuable are expensive, and our service it's valuable. It really is. I'm J1 and thinking of changing my status to tourist and then F1 because I don't want to leave. Am I able to sign up now in this process? If you could just create an account on the website and chat with me, that would be ideal, just so I can talk to you and try to figure out your specific situation. I'm an F1 and OPT and have TPS. If I drop my F1 and keep TPS only, will it affect my process? No, that won't affect your process. Considering that you're in TPS status, that's all you need to apply for adjustment of status. TPS is eligible for that. So even if you drop your F1, your OPT, you can still do adjustment of status. Why all the job offers don't explain in detail benefits from the company, such as health insurance? Yeah, this is something that we're working on improving, just to give everyone more details about the specific jobs on our website. So I apologize that we don't have all of that specific information. Most of the companies we work with do have health insurance options. So these are all really big companies. And if you're a full-time employee with them, which through this program, you have to be a full-time employee, they will offer health insurance. If you have a specific question, you can send me a chat in your BDV account and just ask me, hey, I'm interested in this company. Can you help me figure out if they have health insurance? And I will go look and try to figure that out for you. Can you advise how to have the visa interview in another country, not from my home country? Well, it's simple. You just have to live in another country. You just have to be legally living in another country. That's how you have your visa interview scheduled in another country and not your home country. But McDonald's will never take unskilled workers from abroad. It makes no sense. Solid Silver. I don't know who you are, but you are definitely very skeptical. Yes, these McDonald's franchises will accept unskilled workers from abroad. They absolutely will. The employers that we work with are in desperate need of labor. It's as simple as that. They are willing to go through this process and hire someone, even if it takes that person 2 years to come to the United States. They will still do this process because in 2 years, they will still be in business. And in 2 years, they will still need workers. So all of the companies that we work with, they understand that it will take time for you to actually be able to start working for them. But they understand that, and they are willing to wait for the employer to come, or for the employee to be able to come and start working. They understand that it's going to take 2 years in some cases. So. Is it still okay to not have any work experience? Yes, totally. You can not have any work experience and still apply for this. This is unskilled. The jobs don't require work experience. They don't require anything. So yes, you can definitely apply for this even if you don't have any work experience. Hi, I'm a BDV client. I just made my first payment and I'm waiting for my filing date for my labor certification. What's next? At this point, once you make your first payment, you become a BDV client and you're going to wait until that date that the employer is going to start filing labor certifications. In the meantime of that, BDV will collect some information from you. It's just some additional information that will be needed for the employer to file your labor certification. So you're just waiting now. Simple as that. Are those usually extendable to the family? Yes, usually health insurance is extendable to the family. Your employer-sponsored health insurance usually will cover you and your dependents. So you, your spouse, and your dependents. But what about those unsuccessful clients whose cases got rejected? Also their fees, which they paid to BDV. I mean, yes, there are many successful cases, but don't forget to discuss which couldn't make success. Do you have a refund policy? I mean, to be totally fair, I have not seen unsuccessful cases. I've seen one unsuccessful case that I talked about earlier today because the applicant lied and they got denied for their own fault and they lost their money. All the other cases that I have seen personally, and I've been doing this since 2017, since July of 2017, I don't see unsuccessful cases. I see sometimes someone will get denied and then they have to start again with a new employer. So no, we don't have a refund policy, but if you're rejected and it's not your fault, then you'll start again with a new employer. There should be no reason for you to get rejected if you told the truth on your questionnaire when you sign up with us. I would recommend for you, whoever just commented this, to go back through and watch this video because I talk about this specifically, and hopefully that will provide you the answer you're looking for and a little bit more confidence in us. Can I try EB2, NIW, and EB3 at the same time? I think you can do that. You can have two applications going at the same time. Yeah. or one after the other. But if you're adjusting your status in the US, it's important for you to be maintaining an underlying status. You can't be on your pending adjustment of status for your EB2 and then filing for your EB3 just from a pending status. You have to have an underlying status to apply. Do you need to know conversational level English? Great question. Yes, you do need to know conversational level English. That's very important. Your English doesn't have to be perfect when you first sign up, but because you're going to have some time before you actually start working for your employer. So if you don't have great English, it's important for you to study and be able to have some basic English, because in pretty much all of these work environments, you're going to need to know English to be able to survive. So yes, English is required. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it needs to be functional. Can I apply EB3 if I'm an H1B? Yes, you can apply EB3. You can adjust your status from H1B to EB3. You can also adjust your status from H4 to EB3 if you're a dependent of an H1B holder. So absolutely, if you're on H1B, you can apply. We have a lot of H1B adjustment of status applicants. Most of our adjustment of status applicants are on a student visa, but we have applicants on J1 visa that are adjusting status, E2 visa, H1B, H4, L1, N1. So we have people on other non-immigrant visas that are adjusting their status. We just don't accept B visa for adjustment of status. I signed up the account already. There's not a chat function to contact directly. You might have signed up on the wrong website. So make sure you go to bdvsolutions.com and then click create an account. There is for sure a chat option on our website. So you might have our old website URL. So just please make sure you signed up on our latest website. There is 100% a chat in the bottom right corner. If I'm bringing my family, can they go at a later date, 6 months after, for example? I don't want to give you the wrong answer to this question, but I'm pretty sure that the easiest way to do it is once you and your whole family get your visas, it's better for all of y'all to go to the United States together. But that would be a question really that you would need to ask your attorney, and they'll be able to provide you the appropriate, accurate response. I just don't want to tell you something that's not true. But yeah, it shouldn't be an issue with you either way. Have you ever had unsuccessful applicants from Vietnam? I have never seen an applicant from Vietnam rejected, but we have had several applicants in Vietnam get their cases pushed back to USCIS for re-adjudication. Those cases are not getting denied. Really, they're just getting delayed further and further and further. So, no. I heard that if our sponsor is quick to send documentation, audit can be processed quickly. So can you please ask sponsor to submit the documents ASAP, and we're going to be notified when they submit the documents. You will be notified when your employer submits your audit response. That's not true. If they respond to it quickly, it's going to get processed quicker. That's just not true. So false information there, but we will notify you of all the updates. Please keep in mind that these companies, they aren't immigration consulting businesses. They are McDonald's franchises. They are janitorial companies. They are manufacturing facilities. Their priority is to keep their businesses running. Their priority, frankly, is not your immigration case. So they're not going to be working super hard, super fast to get all your stuff done as fast as you want it. They're focused on their businesses. That's why you hire BDV, because it's BDV's job to make sure that they get what they need to get done. Yeah? All right. After my I-140 is approved, do I need to maintain status? Once your 485 is filed and your I-140 is approved, you really don't need to maintain your status anymore. But again, this is something that you really will want to consult with your attorney at the time of all of this going on. You can talk to your attorney directly and they will advise you. Will a potential government shutdown, if it happens, affect the 485 and USCIS? No, we've seen government shutdowns in the past, and they really haven't had any big effect on any of our clients. So it's not really something you should worry about. Is I-140 the toughest part of EB3? In my opinion, there isn't one part that's like especially harder than another part. All of the parts are, all the parts are equally as important. So now one part isn't necessarily harder than another. In my opinion, the I-140 approval is the most important part, because once you have that I-140 approval, it's permanent. It doesn't expire. So at that point, you're really just waiting for your visa adjudication. I'm from Pakistan. My cousin is from Bangladesh. He doesn't speak a word of English, but wants to apply. He isn't willing to learn English. Well, if he's not willing to learn English, why does he want to come to the United States? Because you need to know English if you want to be in the United States. I mean, you have to have English. So if you're not willing to learn English, then no, you shouldn't sign up for this program. Did anyone apply from Bhutan? I think maybe we have one client from Bhutan out of like thousands of people. Not a lot of people have signed up from Bhutan, but we would love for you to be the first. So Chandra, if you want to take the leap and be the first person to apply from Bhutan, we would love that. I used to do J1 10 years ago, fully complied. Does it help me increasing the chance to win the visa interview? No, it won't have any effect. It won't have any effect on your EB3 process. It won't give you an advantage. It won't give you a disadvantage. But it's a good question. If I have no criminal background, my status is perfect, no health problems, is there still a chance of denial in the 485? The denial in the 485 would be highly, highly, highly unlikely if you have a clean background and you have a labor certification and I-140 approval. I mean, there should be no reason for you to get denied in the 485. I will never tell anyone, yes, 100% you will not get denied. Absolutely guaranteed you will not get denied. I will not say that. You will not hear me ever say that to anyone, because the truth is, I don't really know you. And I don't know if what you're saying to me is real or is truthful. So I'm never going to tell anyone, yeah, 100% you're going to get this visa. That's just not the way that it works. And I'm not going to be willing to tell you something that's incorrect. Wow. I've been talking for 2 hours and 15 minutes. I'm not going to be able to speak later on. Do we have applicants from Hungary? Yes, we do have applicants from Hungary that have gone through this process successfully. They did their interview in Budapest at the U.S. consulate, and they got their visas. That was, within the past 10 months, I think. This year, someone from Hungary got their visa approved. This question, I'm really not sure the answer to. How long does it take to get the EAD after biometrics? I would post this question in our Facebook group. I will approve your post, and then other people who are in the process can give you their experience. Whew. 2 hours and 15 minutes. Wow, that was a lot. I am so happy it's Friday. I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend. I am going to be signing off now because I don't think I could talk anymore. But look, I am here to help you understand this program. I am here to answer your questions, to answer your doubts. I am here to encourage you to sign up for this program. I believe wholeheartedly in this visa program. It's the best part of U.S. legal immigration, in my opinion, this particular EB3 unskilled category, because it is helping the U.S. economy. It is helping U.S. employers that really need workers. It is helping foreign nationals that want an opportunity to come to the United States. So when I first started working at BDV, I didn't know anything about immigration, nothing. I didn't even know what a green card really was. And in being involved in all of this, in talking to thousands of people from all around the world, in helping people successfully go through this program, I have learned how powerful this program is for people and how life-changing it can be. And I truly, truly believe in it. And I hope you believe in it too. Our entire staff here at BDV believes in this. And, you know, we share the same goal, the same objective as our clients. We want you to get your green card approved just as badly as you want you to get your green card approved. So we are here. We are invested in our clients. We fight for our clients' cases. We are, you know, ready, prepared to serve you, answer your questions throughout this process. It's a 2-year period. Another reason why this process is so expensive is because this is not like a one-time thing. You're buying a car and you drive off. You are our client for probably 1 to 2 years. So we're going to be dealing with you and you're going to be dealing with us for a significant amount of time. But we look forward to helping you and you know, getting to know you. And for those of y'all that are doing consular processing, we love helping our clients relocate to the United States for the first time. For our adjustment of status clients, the same. You know, we love helping y'all relocate. Usually with our adjustment of status clients, it's a little bit easier, but it doesn't make a difference. All of our clients are equal in our eyes. We love all of our clients. We appreciate all of our clients, and we're here for all of our clients. So thank y'all for watching me. If you haven't already, create an account on our website. You can chat with me directly. I have 133 messages to reply to in the chat right now. I probably have like 500 messages in Facebook. So don't message me on Facebook. Message me in the chat, and you'll get a response faster. Thank y'all so much for watching me. I really, really appreciate y'all's time, commitment. If you sat here through 2 hours and 15 minutes, I'm very impressed. And thank you for listening to me blab. But hope everyone has a wonderful weekend. I'm going to try to do these more often and just help answer people's general questions, clarify people's doubts. But thank y'all again. Hope y'all have a wonderful day, and we will see y'all very, very soon. Look forward to chatting with you in your BDV account. All right, everybody, take care.